winter weather moves into the Midlands, doctors urging families to take extra precautions because injuries and illness can increase during severe cold. And joining us now is Dr. Lori Heller, an urgent care physician with Lexington Health, with important health guidance as the storm approaches. I think a lot of times when we think about winter weather, we don't necessarily think about the health aspects associated with dealing with these really, really cold temperatures. And so as we are getting ready, my first question actually came from Xavier. It was such a good question. If someone, let's say someone gets hurt, what should they do in order to get medical care if they can't drive? Like, what's the best option?
I call 911.
Yes.
The EMS will come pick them up and bring them to wherever they need to be seen.
Absolutely. And so that way they're trained and ready to be able to drive on those icy roads. So 911, definitely something you want to remember. Now let's talk about spending time outside. I know folks are going to want to go out and they want to see the ice, they want to touch it. We might get some snow flurries. But when is staying outside too long? Like, how can you start to tell, I need to bring it inside?
Yeah, I mean, hypothermia can happen rather quickly, especially in these cold temperatures. You really need to pay attention to yourself and people around you. If they're having, they'll have paleness, they'll be shivering, they'll have some confusion. Sometimes the response time is a little bit less than normal to them. At that point, you need to move them back into a warm environment.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about staying warm and layering. What's a good way to make sure that we are warm when it comes to like blankets and coats and all of that?
Yeah, so make sure that all your exposed skin is closed, hats, scarves, mittens, good waterproof jacket or coat, waterproof shoes. Just make sure everything is covered up. And wet and cold are a bad combination. You don't want the two of those, so the waterproof stuff is important.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, when I was a kid, my mom would take trash bags and put them around my feet and around my hands.
That's me too.
Yes, that's an old school way.
Couple socks.
Right. I had more socks and mittens, and I looked like a grocery store checkout. That's what I want you to know. Right? But that way, if you don't have waterproof, that is an option, a very cheap option to make sure that you stay warm. Make sure the grocery bags don't have holes in it though, because then that defeats the purpose. Okay, let's also have a conversation about the slickness of ice. I know that we want to go out, we want to snap those pictures, but we have to be so careful.
It is very slippery, and sometimes you don't see it. It depends on what surface you're on. The asphalt, you're not going to see it. You're going to slip and you're going to fall. And we do have a lot of visits every year when the weather starts to turn to this at the urgent care for slip and falls on ice. It is very dangerous. I would avoid going outside. You necessarily don't need the mail today.
Yeah, let the mail just sit there. It's going to be okay. Unfortunately, that bill will be there tomorrow. Yes. I hate to say it, but it is very true. And then when we talk about, because we're going to be talking with poison control a little bit later, but when it comes to heating your home, what are some things that people should keep in mind when it comes to safety?
Yeah, especially the outdoor propane heaters. Don't bring them inside. They will produce carbon monoxide, which can be a deadly gas, and you won't smell that at all.
That can be very deadly. And then another question that I have is, do we see illnesses tick up when we're dealing with colder temperatures like this?
We definitely do.
Yeah.
We definitely do. Because, the cold air can irritate your lungs, and you already have asthma or any lung conditions. It can definitely set you up. Your immune system gets a little bit lower in those areas, and you're more likely to catch the viral illnesses that are going around.
And we don't want that. Stay away. We only trusting good things in 2026. So are there any like vitamins or drinks that you recommend that we take just to keep that immune system
Yeah,
as
I
healthy?
always recommend vitamin D, vitamin C, elderberry. Those are always good things. Stay well hydrated with water. Water is a good drink.
Yeah, you can't be H2O. I also swear by elderberry as well.
Yeah, I do like the elderberry.
Yeah, it's so good, and you can get it in a tea, you can get it in a gummy. I mean, it comes in so many different forms. And then when it comes to like those warm teas and warm drinks, is that something good to help keep us warm?
It is, absolutely. Warms your core. I'm a tea person, so all kinds of tea.
Yes,
tea and honey.
Tea and honey.
Yes.
And honey also is good for you as well.
Exactly.
And then, okay, I know it's going to be cold out there, and I know that that's when we want to go towards a lot more coffee or a lot more hot chocolate. Can you speak to the fact that we really need to make sure that we are staying hydrated during, actually all the time, but even when it's really cold outside?
Exactly. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Hot chocolate and coffee are fantastic, flavored, but maybe not so good for hydration. Definitely focus more on the hydrating drinks. Definitely the water. There's some electrolytes out there, but if you're not expending that fluid loss, you don't really need the electrolytes. Water is just fine.
Yes, so you don't That's not an excuse to flavor that water with the electrolytes. There you go. If you want it, okay, that's great. But yes, my friends, I know we typically want to keep those hot drinks, the coffee and the hot chocolates, they're delicious, but we have got to make sure that we are staying hydrated. Any other tips for folks as we're navigating this colder weather?
Just make sure you're staying warm. You know, if you start to feel the symptoms, the signs of hypothermia, get yourself into a warm situation. And check on your family. I mean, the people that are high risk are the elderly, the children, people with chronic illnesses, those people are higher risk, our homeless population. Just check on your community.
Yeah, that's so important. And that's what's great about the Midlands is because everybody really does wrap their arms around each other. And then my last question, when or how can you tell the difference between, oh, this is a little cold, I can get some NyQuil and things will work out, versus I need to go schedule an appointment with my doctor?
Yeah, trouble breathing, your temperature's over 102 that you can't bring down with Tylenol, Advil, those kinds of things. Weird rashes now. I want to see you if you have a weird rash.
Right.
Those kinds of things. Time frame too. If you woke up this morning and have a little sniffle and you'll get over that in 7 to 10 days. But if it starts to last past that 7 to 10 day mark, you might want to be seen.
Yes, such good information there. I feel like we covered everything about how to stay safe in this cold weather for you and your family. And I know it's a lot of information, a lot of good information. So what we're going to do is take care of you by putting this on our website, WLTX.com, so you can check back on it whenever you need to, again, as we are navigating this winter weather.